some of the most exciting innovations you have seen at Mass Robotics in the last year that we're going to get a chance to see a little bit more of with this special event coming up.
Wow. So we have a lot of vendors or robotics companies coming to the block party this year. Did Samantha come last year? The robot hand? There's a robot hand that does sign language, and it's called tactile signing because it's for the deaf and blind. And so it's a robot, and you can type in what you want it to say, and it will do the sign language. So a deaf blind person actually puts their hand over the top of this robot hand and can feel the signing and the letters and can understand what you're saying. So if you think about during COVID, this is a population of people that were very left in the dark because they had no news and they rely on people to sign into their hands, and nobody was touching anybody. So it's a very cool invention. And the woman who's the CEO and founder is a graduate of Northeastern. She's young, and her company just kind of expanded here at Mass Robotics. So they will be at the block party.
That is so cool. This is really what it's all about anyway with innovation. Kevin, how about for you? What's been one of the most exciting things you've seen in the area of innovation this past, let's say, year or so?
So in the past, we've had, let's say, robotic butterflies that have been extremely light, that are able to fly through the entire environment. And I'm excited to say that this year we're going to have bees, essentially kind of like a mini swarm of robots that are robotic bees that are able to engage and do some really dynamic things. So I'm not sure if a lot of people in the world have seen robotics on that type of level, to be able to harness so much technology in such a small and light frame. So I'm personally pretty excited to be able to engage and interact with that, especially after the butterfly last year. It was one of my highlights of the year.
So that's actually from one of our partners here, our sponsors at Mass Robotics. It's Festo. So they're a German company, and they have an innovation group that works on bionics. And so they're bionic bees.
You're going to have people. You told me last year when we spoke that somebody told you there were pigeons in the tent.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're going to have people screaming.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, they thought they're birds, and they were so lifelike that people actually thought they were real birds.
This is going to be something else. A point that you made last year that I really wanted to expand on more, and we ran out of time, is that robotics are for everybody. You don't have to be, for example, an electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer. What have you seen in the way of the area opening out in careers for people who are more arts oriented in the last year?
Well, so from the STEM aspect, when I'm engaging with a lot of our young people, the first thing I highlight to them is that their foundational knowledge actually connects to all the complicated things that you see in the robotics world. They're actually learning a lot of these foundational skills now. But as they grow in those areas, I also let them know that there are so many roles within robotics companies where if they take a foundation in robotics, the robotics companies need everyone from marketing to HR and all type of management roles. So if you can find something that you love to do, there is guaranteed an intersection with robotics. If you are comfortable with robotics and have certain foundational information, the world is yours.
And I would add also art and design. So people who are artists and designers are needed in the robotics field because you have the engineers that are building something super cool that works, but you have to make it look nice because a consumer wants something that looks nice. You have to have something that's easy for a consumer or a regular non-roboticist to be able to work with. And so there's this human-robot interaction piece also. So if you have to understand what people like and what people find intuitive, and make sure that the instructions for the robot are built that way. So there's design, there's, manufacturing, there's so any business, if you think of any business that's building something, it needs all types of people.
It sounds very much like research is involved too. What do you like versus what do you not like?
That's the point of the robotics block party, for people to be able to come out, engage, and be able to explore to see if they have interest in these areas. I can't think of another space in this New England area where all of these companies are going to be coming together, where the public gets to engage directly for free. If you're looking to do that research and explore to see what's out there and what your interests or likes are, I think that's the perfect place to start.
Our interview last year made me very sorry that I'm in California, not Boston. I would love to see this. Just before we get to looking at the Robot Block Party this year, Kevin, you had the largest cohort, you said on your LinkedIn, that you have had for your Jumpstart program this spring. This is such a cool thing. I wish you'd tell me a little bit about this before we go on.
So because of how much success we've been having with our Jumpstart initiative, we were able to spread to a second location this year with the leverage of the Mass Tech Collaborative to be able to help fund these dynamic expansion without putting any cost on any of the young ladies, any of the students or fellows that are a part of the program. So right now, we were able to engage with 33 young ladies within 1 year, engaging with them January through May, about 3 out of 4 Saturdays a month, exposing them to the most dynamic concepts, really collegiate level concepts that are tying directly into industry, where I don't mean to kind of brag, but so many people are envious of this environment and all the dynamics that are going on. So much so that we are hoping, I don't know if this is out yet, but we're hoping to be able to put together a similar program for young men also, so that not only the ladies get to go through this dynamic experience and finding all the internships for those young ladies that are in high school to be able to work with all these really big companies in industry. Hopefully we can do something similar for the gentlemen also. So kind of like an inside scoop, but we have even bigger things in store to be able to really impact the
community.
Build the robotics ecosystem from the ground up, literally.
Well, they heard it first here on Over Coffee. What I really love when I was looking at the video of your cohort this year, 2 things. First of all, the young women are learning how to solder just like their grandmothers may have learned to embroider. It's a craft. But also those fireside chats where they're not just sitting there and listening to a fireside chat. Wish you'd tell me about what they do.
Yeah, so they're actually taking part and they're leading the discussion. So we give them a few tips of here's some questions to kind of get the ball rolling. And I'll tell you that the girls, when they start, they're a little timid and they're nervous because they're talking to somebody who's experienced. But by the end, they're completely going off script and they're asking their own questions and they're just becoming super confident. And it's amazing to see throughout the semester how they just every week they get better and better and they get to ask the questions. So it's not Kevin and I sitting there asking someone questions. One of the girls is up in front with them asking the questions.
In some ways, I think of it like a flower blossoming. The beauty of it is always there, but with the right environment, it opens up and shares all of what its beauty with the world. And that's what happens with these young ladies through the Jumpstart program. All of the kind of, I would say, energy, the excitement, the foundational knowledge, the interest is all there. But when it's cultivated in the right environment, you get to see the young ladies step into their true selves and be able to grow and explore. And now we have young ladies at some of the top universities in the US. And we just finished our 4th cohort. So we have even bigger and better things coming, especially as our young ladies matriculate into the workforce and are able to give back to the future Jumpstart Fellows.
Right. And our applications are actually open now for cohort 5.
Correct.
So they've just opened. It's on our website. We'll be doing a big push in the next couple of weeks and at the block party. So we have a lot of our alumni coming to the block party. They'll be at our booth talking to people who are interested in the program. They'll be able to share their firsthand experience with it.
Let's share your website, your link, and let's also let people know who's eligible for this.
So we're looking for high school girls, primarily juniors. We will take some seniors and a sprinkling of sophomores as long as they're 16 before the summer. And that's because of employment, things that we need to follow. So on our website, it's www.massrobotics.org, and there's a STEM tab. And if you go to the STEM tab, it'll have the Jumpstart program on there. We're looking for girls who are diverse and who are interested and excited about learning. They don't have to be top of their class and a computer science programmer and already know how to do this stuff. We're looking for students that don't know how to do this stuff that we can help teach and help them get familiar and comfortable around tech.
I'm hearing you say that they don't have to be somebody who was encouraged to be an electrical engineer when they were young.
Right. Correct. That was me.
That's exactly why I said that. You know that. And I wish more girls had that background. One other thing, and then I promise we will get to RoboBoston. But Kevin, you said something wonderful at the end of our last interview, and I would love to explore that a little bit more with you. You said you like people in the learning experience to fail forward, and not just in robotics. What's been a good fail forward each of you has seen this past year?
Oh, whoa, that's a great question.
Personally, or for some, like we've had, a Jumpstart girl who didn't get into the college of her choice.
Yes.
And she was devastated, but she took her second choice and now she is flourishing. And, what we told her was, once you get into college, you make it your experience and you forget about the past little bump in the road. It's just a bump in the road. And in the grand scheme of life, it's those little bumps that are devastating to someone who's a teenager. And I know this because I've had a lot of teenagers. These little things, when I try to tell them, look at my age, looking back, I don't even remember the color of the dress I wore to the prom. Right? It's that insignificant when you get to this point in your career. So think about the big picture. And those little bumps along the way are all just little learning things, right?
Along the lines of Jumpstart, this year with some of our capstone projects at the end of the year, we give the young ladies a lot of room to leverage all the skill sets that they have learned throughout the several months they've been engaging with Mass Robotics. And we give them a task to accomplish, and it's up to them to create a design, understand what equipment, what materials are going to be necessary to be able to bring their vision to life. And sometimes in those initial steps, you can see the areas of growth that are needed. Some people may view that as failure in some aspects, but the way that the young ladies circle back and work together and learn from all of what each other are doing to be able to push forward their projects, I would say that this year, some of our capstone projects had me in awe. To understand the process that they went through, the changes that they had to make within their project itself, because things did not go according to plan, which they never do, especially in this environment that we're in. But to see them run into those roadblocks, learn from them, and keep on moving forward, it has me weak every year. It's the reason why I don't want to go anywhere.
What was one of those capstone projects that just utterly wowed you? Like, how did they come up with that?
Oh, so there were a couple of ones that I loved. One was a girl who made a barrette that had a flower on it. And when it got too loud, the flower would close. And when it was quiet, the flower would open. So that was one of them. I'm trying to think. There was somebody had a ring that did something.
So these young ladies were essentially creating bio-inspired robotics. So think about something that's wearable, something that you can engage with on a daily basis to be able to help you learn or understand or communicate with your environment a little bit more. To see the ladies try something in computer science, like with regards to the project we're talking about, a lot of that stuff doesn't work at first.
Right. She had to change her material because at first it was hard. And then she used soft ribbon that bent. So she used that. And then what sensor could she use? So that we wanted them to use a sensor that would kind of sense the environment for something. One of them had to do with light, and I can't remember what that project was.
So I know some of the Boston young ladies were leveraging an Arduino to be able to communicate with multiple devices. And in doing so, they realized that they had to reprogram some of the foundational things in the system. But throughout that process, in their capstone project, the young ladies opened up and discovered things about the platform that I wasn't familiar with. The way that some of these young ladies are pushing me and my expertise in this space by exploring their interests and building up. I think that's the beauty of one of those capstone projects, being open enough where they can follow their interests, but still close enough to be able to leverage all the skill sets that they have at the table. It challenges us to, again, fail forward, to be able to stay on our turns, keep learning, and keep growing the environment with our young ladies. But those are a couple of the really interesting projects that I found that opened my eyes this year. So I'm really excited to meet our new cohort of fellows as we welcome them in December and see their flower open up from January through May and walk them into these dynamic internships where they can really receive all of these life-changing experiences.
It'll be even more exciting to see how they blossom and flower in the career field. Wow.
Yes, can't wait. So our Jumpstart girls from our very first cohort are now a couple of seniors in college. So we're almost to the point where they're going to be hitting the real world. And so we'll continue to track them. And our dream is that they work for a company that hires a Jumpstart intern and they become a mentor. So that's kind of the dream.
I'll check back with you. I'll want to hear that another year.
Yeah.
What about the 27th of September? What is going to be happening on September 27th and 28th this year?
I kind of want to get kicked off with STEM Day.
Okay, but this is our third STEM Day. It's our seventh block party. So we've been doing the block party now. This is our seventh annual block party. And we added STEM Day 3 years ago. So this is our third year. We've had so many schools sign up to do the field trip, and we had to turn down a bunch of them. We could only take 12 schools, 400 students, go.
Yes. The experience is growing and growing. Like Joyce said, we have over 400 students coming to Seaport to be able to experience essentially the robotics block party, all of the different companies in our robotics environment here at Mass Robotics to be able to engage directly with. So these people are coming out with the mindset that high school students are coming to engage with them. So they're bringing some of the most innovative, fun robots and technology that you can, and the students get to engage directly with it. It's going to be a setup where we have 400 students throughout that entire couple hours, if you realize how many students are coming by within a small period of time, all prior to the career fair that we're setting up. And a lot of them are from Boston public schools with very, very diverse backgrounds. So we're excited to be able to open up and even actually last year we gave away some money to a couple teachers to be able to impact their classroom. So there's a lot of small things like that are happening on the 27th that impact our educational ecosystem in some really dynamic ways, just to kick off our year for all the other programming that we have lined up.
Yeah, the nice thing about this STEM Day is that the students can we have them going from spot to spot, and it's a very, so they'll get 10 or 15 minutes with each company, and they'll get talks and that kind of thing. Whereas the block party is more of an open house. Families are going from spot to spot. So we've picked about 12 exclusive companies that are coming specifically for that and going to talk to the kids. So one is the RoboBees, so they'll be set up. The Boston Dynamics dogs will have a dog pen, and the kids can actually drive the dogs. The kids can drive the underwater robot that's going to be in the tank. One of the new ones that we have this year is a robot doing chess. So there's a robot playing chess. That's from one of our sponsors, ABB. So that will be interesting.
My favorite robotic hand is going to be there.
Oh, the robot hand. Oh, Neuromaker.
So yes, there's a Neuromaker hand that I think is so cool. It's a educational tool that I've personally leveraged, as well as different schools have leveraged, where my favorite, you can add a lot of different sensors and creative things on this robotic hand, but there's a special mode that I can set up where I put on a glove and connect flex sensors to each one of my fingers, and I can make the robotic hand mimic anything that I do with my hand. So to be able to show students that they're a lot closer to this advanced technology than they think. To the fact that they can understand each one of the steps and the sensors and all those different things really brings these high level concepts that they've seen in the past down to their world. So throughout everything, I think I'm just so excited, to be honest. It's hard to pick out one or two things because everything there is insane.
Yeah. I started to ask a favorite robot, but then realized that's like asking your favorite child. And that really is all about, isn't it? Bringing this into their world and saying, this is you. This is something you can do. What about the career fair you're going to be having? A lot of people are saying, a robot will take my job. Now AI's here. Oh, AI is going to replace me. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, what's super interesting about that is every single company we know is hiring. And you see hiring signs on restaurants, we actually just talked to a robot company yesterday that cleans toilets, and they're doing it in airports because people don't want to do that. And it's a high pressure steam that steams it, but you still need a person there to open the door to hold it. So the person isn't doing the job of actually with a brush cleaning, but they still are needed there to guide the robot to the spot, right? The other one, actually last year at this time, when we were setting up the block party, there were window washers hanging down from the rafters, and they were on a huge building coming down. And I did a little snapshot and I put it on LinkedIn and I said, this should be a job for robots. And not one person said they're going to be taking those guys' jobs. Think about it. If a robot was doing that, you need some people to set up the robot. Somebody would have had to design the robot, manufacture the robot, test the robot. The people on site, you probably still need 4 guys because you need 2 up top, you need 2 below to monitor the robot, to run the robot. So it's the same amount of employees. It's just that their job is a lot safer.
So what I tell a lot of people along the same lines is that robots do not take jobs, they cause job transitions. And throughout history, there are so many examples of people fearing new technology and how it's going to impact them. And then over a period of time, in all of these areas that we can reflect in, even if we look at our telephones and how there used to be an operator that you're calling into to plug and connect your calls and do all of those things, all of those systems are automated. But again, like Joyce was saying, it takes people to manage and run those systems. So it's not necessarily a robot taking your job. It's a job transition to ensure that the environment is still executed at a high level.
What higher level jobs do you see AI creating where they start to say, oh, well, AI is going to do copywriting, AI is going to do planning? What instead is it creating?
Well, I do use it to plan vacations. So maybe travel, it's not good for travel agents, but someone still has to write the software. Someone still has to monitor, and input. Someone still has to be doing the AI training, right?
AI is a tool. In my opinion, AI is a tool, just like the machines that we have in our labs, just like everything else out there. Because it's a tool, it's based off of how you apply it and how you use it. If you just say AI, the AI is not going to do anything unless we train it, position it, and give it those specific tasks that it needs. And every AI is built with a specific purpose. So I would say similar. I think AI is going to enable everyone to do their job at a higher level, to be able to be more efficient if you can leverage AI and everything that it brings to the table.
And I personally think that will be very exciting to see. Would you take me forward in your imagination to the 28th and about 10 o'clock in the morning and tell me what's going to be happening at the 7th annual Block Party?
I will tell you, 10 o'clock is during setup, so it's going to be a complete zoo. Dropping off robots, getting it to the right location, all that kind of stuff.
Preparing for the parade.
Yes. So last year we did it, and it was kind of a last minute thing, and we said, why don't we do a robot parade leading up to the block party? And so it was kind of a last minute thing, and we just said, who here wants to be in a parade? And we had everyone go around the back of this building and come around, and we did this little parade leading up to the ribbon cutting. Well, this year we have over 30 robots already signed up for the parade. So we're going to actually start a block down farther so that we have a longer parade route.
It's going to be a huge procession.
Yeah. Wow. So there's rolling, walking, gliding, so it will be really fun. We have a big banner and we walk in front, and the people are on the side of the sidewalk, and the dogs are there, the tackle robot. A lot of the first teams in the high school robotics teams are there, and they're with their robots, and they're all dressed up in their colors of their team. So we get to the front, and then we have this little ribbon cutting ceremony. We'll likely have a very special guest. Last year we had Lieutenant Governor and Miss Massachusetts. Right. This year we're not going to reveal who it is until the day of, so you'll just have to come out and see it. Or we'll send you some pictures, Dot. But then once the ribbon is cut, so the parade starts around 10:45. The ribbon's cut at 11, and that kind of opens up the open house kind of style. The two big tents, a big courtyard. Actually, in the courtyard, there's going to be an autonomous lawnmower, electric, and they're going to raffle off a lawnmower during the course of the event. So that's Segway Navimo, and they're a sponsor of the block party this year. Another sponsor is a construction company called Skanska, and they're going to have some different types of robotics and technology that they use in construction. So here the public can see, how robots are helping the construction industry, making it safer. And so the public gets a good view of, different types of technologies, how they're used in our everyday world.
Something that I'm pretty excited about, and you brought it up in your statement, is the fact that we have so many, over a dozen robotics high school teams coming to participate in the block party. So to have the next generation in the environment participating on the same level as all of these industry partners, I think that's personally inspiring to me. This is the first year we've had this type of turnout in terms of robotics teams. Yeah. And I'm really interested, if the parade is expanding, what else may expand similar to that? Let's just say the 27th and the 28th can't get here fast enough. Yeah.
What are a couple of the student projects that you're going to have, student robotic projects that will be displayed? Yeah,
so these are first teams. So they're teams that compete in the nationals and the competitions that happen January through the spring. This is kind of like their way to initiate the new freshmen that are coming into the team. So they bring a bunch of their old robots from past competitions. And so we have all of them in one area in one of the big tents, and we'll have an open area in the middle, and we'll do a few kind of like mock competitions. So attendees can see what it's like when these robots are competing. Sometimes they're shooting balls into baskets. Sometimes it's putting rings on these little
poles and arms.
Yeah. And then sometimes they actually take the competitors' rings off to get them take points away. So and the students get super excited, and they're all dressed like in their T-shirts that have the name of their company or the name of their team, like it's Aztecs. And so it's fun to see a lot of these teams have come year after year. And so it's fun to have them back. But this year, more.
For families, it's a way for them to see how they can get their children engaged right now. A lot of the kind of robotics are industry-based and a little bit far off. Yes, we have our programs at Mass Robotics that we open the door to, but right there in their school on a weekly basis, they can push themselves forward if they see themselves in this environment. So we're just trying to encourage the growth and the cultivation of a rich tech ecosystem.
What about the underwater drones, Kevin? You talked about those last year. There were some. Are they going to be there, and how did they do?
Yes. So this year, we worked with MITRE again for our Blue Tech Academy, and there will be underwater drones that will be brought by some of the students that participated in these academies, getting to share all of their expertise with the world, as well as some additional drones that have some actual pretty big systems that MITRE is bringing as well to be able to share with the public. But this year is going to be a little bit different. Not only are there going to be, I guess, remote operated vehicles, the typical blue tech drones, but also jellyfish. So there's robotic jellyfish that some of the students were able to leverage and build, and they're going to bring those in. They have a little bit different type of locomotion than the typical robot. However, the fact that these young people are able to kind of introduce things in some really, I would say, different ways, leveraging biomimicry and things like that to be able to say, this is how we can be creative and push everything forward. And these are high school students doing all this. These are students, this is truly the next generation. So to have them as engaged as they are, I see Jumpstart as a small, we create so much impact. Jumpstart has taught us how to cultivate this impact through all of our programs, and create these young people that seek knowledge, seek these environments and experiences that are beyond us. One day we're going to hopefully expand our STEM kind of engagement of tenfolds. But that takes time. So in the meantime, we want to make sure that we empower these young people, give them the skills to seek the knowledge, to seek the understanding that they desire so that they can move and replace us in the future.
Someday. And take care of us with their robots.
Yes.
Absolutely. I want one of those robots that washes windows.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned yet that this is a completely free event. And it's nonprofit. Yep. Nobody gave anything.
Yep. No. We do have a registration because we like to kind of track who's there. And then we like to send out a survey after. Did you like what you saw? Would you recommend this to a friend? What was your favorite robot? So we like to hear those kinds of feedback at the end.
What about a favorite robot from last year? What was the biggest response and what were your personal favorites?
Yeah, the responses were the favorite robots were the Boston Dynamics dogs.
Of course.
And the butterflies. So those were the favorite from last year. And the butterflies were big, blue, beautiful butterflies that would go up, and there's one picture that I love, and it's a butterfly on the nose of the dog.
Oh my goodness. Really
cute, yeah. So who knows what's going to happen this year?
Oh, man.
But this year there's a number of companies bringing different types of dogs. Mm-hmm. So that will be really interesting. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the chess player.
Yes, that is honestly, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I want to see if I can play against it and how I do. Is there a level on there so that I can at least win?
Simple.
Let's put it on beginner while I'm testing in front of everybody.
I'm talking to an engineer who made his own Pong game. I'm betting on you, Kevin. You're going to win. What about support? What can people do? I asked you this question last year, but I'm going to ask it again. What do you need most?
Well, we have a lot of volunteers for the day of to help set up. You know what we really need is corporate support for hiring students. That's one of our biggest things. A lot of times it's very hard for corporates to hire high school students. And we're very, very flexible on the types of jobs that these kids could have. It could be project-based. It could be a 2-week shadowing. Anything that will get these young people into industry and really see what it's like to go to work every day. They have to be there at 8 o'clock and stay till 4, what the environment is like, what the interaction is like with adults. So the summer internships can be, like I said, anything from a 2-week shadowing someone to a 4-week project to 4 days a week to the whole summer. And where you're shadowing or you're working with a college intern maybe. So we're really, that's one of our big needs right now is people to take these students as interns and give them a chance. You don't always, these students that we're producing, they will give you they will make it worth it for you. A lot of times, students who haven't gone through our program, it's more of a liability because they're not knowledgeable on some of the things. They don't have the
technical foundation.
Right. But these students really have a good foundation. And we do survey the employers every year to find out what would you like them to know more? How can we change the curriculum to meet your needs and expectations? But I'll tell you, the employers that came this year for our finale, they felt so empowered seeing what these students could do. And it really makes you feel really good. Like you're doing a good thing for you're teaching these students what it's like and giving them this experience that they can't get anywhere else. So it's very rewarding for the employers.
They're changing the future.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'd say I believe 100% that if an employer has interest but is nervous about the student's technical ability to be able to achieve and work in certain roles, if through our conversations, we get informed of what skills they need to have, and we augment all of our curriculum and experiences to ensure that these young people are prepared day one when they walk in that door. Not only that, we'll make sure that someone is matched up that meets all of those requirements and interest level in that area that company is providing. But for me, the reflection at the end of this summer, I was mind blown. Hearing the young people talk about their technical expertise in the area that company is taught me so many things. They're using language that I wasn't necessarily familiar with because I'm not in that particular line of technology that they were engaging in. So these young people are teaching me. I keep on mentioning that. They're teaching me as we go. So we're all about growth, and growth is not limited. It's not just for the students. Everybody in this environment, the mentors alike, walk away with so much growth from these experiences. And I think that's one of the most dynamic things, that everybody's open-minded and doesn't see relationships as one directional, but the fact that it's a transaction. And everybody's approaching it as such, so that they're looking to open themselves up to the young people because they know the young people have something to offer.
And actually, you can read about those. We have a blog post that's all about the internships, and the girls each wrote a paragraph or two and sent us pictures from their summer internships. So it's all kinds of examples of what the girls did. But like you said, the ones that worked in the construction area, they knew so many words like slurry walls and all this stuff that, I'm not in construction. So we learned so much listening to them talk about their jobs.
I don't know what a slurry wall is.
But now I know.
I'm assuming that the employers with any kind of an internship opportunity or anything can reach out to you on the website we gave before. And I'll see the blog.
There's a Google form they can fill out, like if they're located in Boston, if they're located towards Lowell, and how easy it is to get to their site, what they're looking for. Yeah. So we have that on our website.
Final question here. When people come to RoboBoston 2024, what's one thing you want them to take away from the robots and innovation about innovation, creativity, and making a difference?
Robots are the future. Were you going to say that? They're really for everybody. It's not like it's for one certain demographic or one certain type of person. You'll see robots that are going to cover all kinds of industries. Really, every industry will be adopting some type of robotics in the future. And you really see a lot of it, like I said, from the construction to the lawnmower to the underwater, to the surveying with the drones. Actually, one of the drones we have is a tethered drone, and it's going to be recording the whole parade. And if you think about that, the nice thing about it being tethered is it has infinite power, infinite bandwidth, right? And it's not going anywhere. So we'll have a whole recording of the parade for next year.
As well as the block party.
Right.
And this will be up on your YouTube channel, which I failed to mention that you have a great one.
Yes.
How about you, Kevin?
I'd like people to walk away understanding that robots are not scary. Sometimes, a lot of people have a fear of the unknown, and those people who aren't as technical savvy, have as much experience in these areas, just this bit of exposure could help parents connect with their children. Help them see their children light up and understand what gets them excited and what gets them going. Because sometimes when conversations are brought up, we kind of step back away from them because we don't know how to address things or what direction to help push the young people. So within a space like this, there's going to be so many resources for families to be able to engage and grow and just learn about what technology is. That's going to lead to guaranteed more questions, but the fact that they're willing to ask these questions, willing to engage, is, I think, the first step. I keep on directing everything to young people, but that's how we can usher in a lot of these programs for parents to be able to notice how to give my student, my young person, the support that they need. And the fact that so many families and students are coming to this event, I think it works out perfectly just to build that consistent foundation around the greater Boston area, around technology, and push the buck forward.
Joyce, Kevin, thank you for your time today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always fun, Dot.